In the past, I did another video very similar to this one. Oh look, there it is. However, that one went a little differently. As I considered the events that transpired between the Uchiha and the Hidden Leaf, I recognized one other possibility and line of events that might also result in the survival of the Uchiha, with differing events that changed from what the previous video held. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. We all know that Itachi was the one to destroy the Uchiha. He did so on Danzo's orders in hopes of saving his little brother Sasuke, at least. We generally praise Itachi as a strong-willed man who made the hard choice to save his little brother, and that is true. Itachi was strong. However, I do believe he may have been foolish. He had access to some very particular things that he could have used to save both the Uchiha and his family, but we need to take this back to the beginning to explain why this is so. It ironically does not start with Itachi. It goes all the way back to Shisui Uchiha. He only showed up in the series as a living character for like 30 minutes, but he was influential. He graduated from the academy in the midst of the Third Shinobi World War. Shisui was placed on a Genin team beside another who he would consider his best friend. The war ended a year later. However, Shisui's best friend was killed on a mission, which left Shisui feeling as if it had been his own fault. This event caused him to awaken his Mangekyo Sharingan. His Mangekyo Sharingan allowed him to make use of Susanoo, as dual Mangekyo allow for anyone to do so. But he also possessed the special ability Korowa Matsukami, which allowed Shisui to essentially use a more subtle Jedi mind trick on people. It allowed him to plant concepts and beliefs in people's heads that caused them to think that it was all their idea. Only the caster was aware of their own involvement. During the year after, he met a 5-year-old Itachi. Look at that cute little bean. Adorable. Shisui and Itachi grew to be great friends. Best friends even, to the point where Shisui was seen as an older brother to Itachi. Itachi himself was the son of Makoto and Fugaku Uchiha, the head of the Uchiha clan. He had seen many deaths during the Third Shinobi World War and developed pacifist views in which he desired to become a shinobi in hopes of ending war as a business. Itachi was a gifted shinobi, being able to graduate from the academy at age 6. At age 5, he witnessed the Demon Fox's attack on the village, which led to greater hostilities between the Uchiha and Konoha as a whole, as Konoha believed the Uchiha to be at fault. This ended with the Uchiha being relocated to the outskirts of the town. A lot of the way Konoha treated the Uchiha was what caused the Uchiha to consider a coup. Itachi, during his time as a genin, found that his missions were becoming too easy, and at age 10 he was finally allowed to take the Chunin exams and passed with flying colors. The year after, Itachi was allowed to join Anbu, becoming its youngest member and being assigned to the same team as Yamato and Kakashi Hatake. Itachi became interested in Kakashi's use of a Sharingan despite not being an Uchiha. Their teamwork allowed for the success of many missions. But all good things must eventually come to an end. 2 years later, Itachi was reassigned to a new team under Danzo Shimura. Itachi became the pride of his family and was looked up to by Sasuke. Look at little Sasuke. He was adorable too. Sasuke often wanted Itachi to train him, but Itachi never did. In the end, it became apparent that the Uchiha were going to cause an uprising, which would result in more bloodshed and the loss of more precious life. And so, Itachi decided to become a double agent for Konoha, and began informing the third Hokage about what was happening. Shisui also shared this burden with Itachi, both of whom disagreed with their clan's beliefs. However, it became apparent that war was the only option. This was when Shisui chose to use Korowa Matsukami on his clan to put the thoughts of a coup down. However, Danzo did not believe this would work, and also believed it would be a threat to his power. He ambushed Shisui in an attempt to steal his eyes. He managed to take Shisui's left eye. However, Shisui managed to escape. He wrote a suicide note entrusting his eye to Itachi, telling him to protect both the village and the Uchiha name before jumping into the Naka River, ending his own life. This moment awakened Itachi's own Mangekyo Sharingan. Following his return to the village, the other Uchiha, already suspicious of Itachi, accused him of murdering Shisui, which caused Itachi to lose composure and attack them. He further begged his father to reconsider his stances on a coup, but instead his father insisted that Itachi side with the clan to bring down the village. Normally, this is where Itachi would report to the Hokage and village elders that the revolt is imminent. However, we forget something. Something important. Itachi Uchiha possesses Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan. Remember how I said that Shisui had access to Koro Amatsukami in his Mangekyo Sharingan? Well, you see, each Mangekyo Sharingan possesses its own unique ability besides the common Susanoo. Sometimes you get different abilities, such as Itachi, who had Tsukiyomi and Amaterasu. Sometimes you get abilities that complement each other and offer greater control, such as Sasuke, who had Amaterasu in one eye and the ability to better control the flames in the other. Sometimes you just get carbon copies, such as Obito Uchiha, who had Kamui in both eyes. Well, Shisui Uchiha was one who possessed carbon copy abilities. He possessed Koro Amatsukami. We know this because later on in the series, Itachi's Ito Tensei used Koro Amatsukami to free himself from the control that Kabuto had over him. This means from the start, Itachi had access to this ability that Shisui planned to use to stop the Uchiha from uprising. Given that Itachi could sit in on clan meetings since the moment he became a genin 6 years so back, Itachi knows everything there is to know about the uprising, as well as those who serve as its benefactors. So this is where our what if diverges from the main story. Instead of just meeting Itachi at the Naka Shrine, Itachi arrives and on his arm is a crow. Itachi knows what he needs to do. Using his Sharingan to put the bird under Genjutsu, he gives it a command to use Koro Amatsukami on his father. The idea he puts in his head is to show him his own worldview, to show him that a fourth Shinobi World War may start should the Uchiha attempt to overthrow the village. He shows him the village's point of view in that the Nine Tails was controlled by one with a Sharingan. He plants it into his father's head that what they need is less of a revolt and more to prove their innocence, proving loyalty to the village. With this, his father begins to reconsider his stances on a revolt. At the next meeting, Fugaku would begin to tell the other Uchiha clan members about a better idea. His idea. Finger quotes. I say this out loud since you can't see my fingers. They don't take well to the idea, but Itachi is still working. Koro Amatsukami is not an ability someone can use many times in a day, so he could likely only change people's minds, say, on average every 12 hours. But eventually he would get the majority, which would cause enough division in the clan to know that if they attempted it, it would be a civil war within the clan and a death sentence to all who participate. This way, the revolt is quelled peacefully. Itachi would further go to the Hokage's office and inform him that he has managed to put the rebellion down peacefully. The Hokage is ecstatic, but Danzo is less than thrilled. He has a hard time believing that the Uchiha would so easily give up on the coup. Itachi plans to use Koro Amatsukami on Danzo to subdue him. However, Danzo is unaffected due to also possessing a Mangekyo with Koro Amatsukami. This is when Itachi realizes that Danzo is currently in possession of Shisui's eyes. It's then that Itachi asks for a special council with the third Hokage. There, he informs him of how he managed to subdue the Uchiha clan. He tells Hiruzen that he used Koro Amatsukami, an ability awakened in one of Shisui's Sharingan. He informs the third of what happened to Shisui and how one of his eyes was stolen. He then informs the third that it was Danzo who took it and that he can prove it. The third asks how. Itachi informs him that it was due to the fact that Danzo currently has the Sharingan in his head. Hiruzen calls Danzo in to hear his side of the claim. Danzo tells him it's preposterous and that Itachi is the one who killed Shisui and that even other clan members believe so. Hiruzen would turn around to face Itachi, but Itachi's crow would cast Koro Amatsukami on the elderly Hokage. Sir, he's using the Sharingan now. He just cast a Genjutsu on you that even you didn't know you were under. That is the power of this ability. I possess the other one, and so I could break you free. If you wish to see my proof, make him remove the wrappings around his head. Hiruzen would force Danzo to remove the wrappings. It's proven that Itachi is right. Danzo pulls a kunai and is ready to kill Hiruzen and blame it on Itachi, but Itachi instead casts Tsukiyomi on Danzo and subdues him. Given this betrayal, Danzo would be imprisoned. Both Shisui's eye as well as the Sharingan embedded eye are removed from Danzo and put in a secure Konoha storage house where they wait for the future. Despite how useful it is, Hiruzen demands that Itachi destroy the other. So after the ordeal is finished, Itachi would let his bird fly off to the heavens before casting Amaterasu on it, ending both the crow and its Mangekyo Sharingan. We then skip forward in time. 12 years have passed since the Demon Fox's attack on the Leaf, and our protagonist Naruto Uzumaki, after some trouble, has managed to graduate from the academy and is now considered a genin. He's put on Team 7, which consists of himself, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha, the little brother of Itachi Uchiha. Speaking of Itachi Uchiha, it turns out that he will be their mentor. Normally Kakashi would do so, but Kakashi has yet to leave the Anbu. Remember, 3rd Hokage Hiruzen asked Kakashi to step down from the Anbu after Itachi massacred his entire clan. However, he doesn't do that, so it's possible that he remains in Anbu. Of course, we all know Might Guy specifically asked the third to remove Kakashi, but whether he would or not is still in the air if Itachi hadn't killed the Uchiha. Perhaps Itachi was the straw that broke the camel's back. Or perhaps I really just want to make Itachi one of the main characters this time around. Take your pick. All of these are possible options. Quick disclosure. Most of Team 7 is the same save for Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke has no past trauma, meaning he has not left the same upbeat and happy disposition he had as a child. He's closer in regards to Naruto personality-wise, but many times less rambunctious and flamboyant. He's also far more kind and doesn't shoot down Sakura all the time. He's still the class heartthrob, but instead of indifference, he displays more of a humble shyness, which only turns Sakura more onto him. This, of course, increases his rivalry with Naruto. Despite Sasuke being kinder, he is more naturally gifted, having had prior experience training under Kakashi, and Sakura's crush on him grows quite a bit. All in all, Sasuke is leagues ahead of what he had been previously, already possessing 2 Sharingan, both with 3 Tomoe each. If anything, the best I can say is that I would think that Sasuke right now would probably be nearing Chunin exam levels of strength. He doesn't flaunt it though, and also downplays it, which pisses off Naruto by causing him to think that Sasuke is being falsely modest and secretly high-minded. But in reality, Sasuke is just a gifted person who tries to remain humble about it as to not make others feel inadequate. Given that the bell test was a Kakashi and Minato thing, Itachi doesn't do that. In this world, we just go straight into them doing odd jobs until the Land of Waves arc comes. Most of this actually plays out the same with a few exceptions. First off, Itachi would not be weakened by use of his Sharingan like Kakashi was. Our boy has the Mangekyo Sharingan and uses it often. Itachi is golden here. That being said, his battle against Zabuza goes pretty well, all things considered. Zabuza doesn't seem to know much about the Sharingan at its first reveal. He incorrectly assumes that it can read minds and see into the future, which is not at all what it was doing. It was merely studying and guessing, all while augmenting Kakashi's reaction time, which gave an illusion, the Sharingan specialty, that he was seeing into the future. That also being said, he more than likely has zero experience with a user of the Mangekyo Sharingan. After all, those things are even more rare than a regular Sharingan. However, he may know what Itachi's Sharingan is capable of, given that Itachi by this time would have plenty of nicknames, one of which Zabuza would call him. Itachi Uchiha of the Blood Moon Eye. He knows Itachi is a caster of Tsukiyomi, and knows to avoid eye contact. But guess what he doesn't know exists? Susanoo and Amaterasu, so it's safe to say that Zabuza is boned. Like, so boned that he's not even going to appear later on because Itachi will kill him. This will force Haku to seek revenge, but do you really expect him to be able to do anything against Itachi? The fight is too easy, and Naruto never experiences his tailed beast's power. The mission actually goes super smoothly, meaning to get it done and get home even faster. Sasuke is already Chunin level, and he's 2 years older than Itachi was when he became a Chunin. He volunteers his team for the Chunin exams. It all goes about the same. However, in the Forest of Death, Naruto can't do much against Orochimaru since he has yet to go beastie on us, but Sasuke can and does. He manages to actually do some damage, but this doesn't stop Orochimaru from planting a curse mark on Sasuke because Sasuke is just too delectable a vessel to pass up. Even still, Sasuke carries on and the team succeeds. However, Sasuke tells Itachi what happened. Itachi would use his Sword of Totsuka to completely remove the seal, like it never even happened. The exhibition matches would start and it would likely go the same, except Sasuke has an even easier time of it given that he no longer has the cursed seal to hold him back. After this, Naruto faces off against Kiba and Akamaru and also wins. Sakura faces Ino, but it's a double elimination. After this, the finals are set to begin, which gives all the Genin 1 month off to recover and train. Much like before, Naruto would train under Jiraiya and Sasuke would train under Itachi this time. Under Jiraiya, not only would Naruto be able to awaken and control his tailed beast energy, he would also learn everything that he normally would have, meaning that Naruto has caught up. Sasuke, on the other hand, is already pretty dang strong. He continues to train with Itachi and learns a few more cool tricks, but still stagnates a bit due to his teacher having already taught him much of what he already knew. The best Sasuke gets out of it is greater control and mastery, which, even though I balk at it a bit right now, isn't much to balk at. The matches return and everything goes about the same, according to the series. However, before the finals can conclude, Konoha Crush occurs. Orochimaru appears to destroy the leaf alongside Gaara, who is releasing Shukaku. Sasuke and Naruto face off against Gaara, but this time Itachi faces off against Orochimaru and his snakes with Susanoo. He uses his Blade of Totsuka and manages to steal Orochimaru away before he can do too much damage, and Naruto does still manage to reach out to Gaara. This means that the third Hokage does not die. This actually ends the first arc, as everything after is either non-canon or centered around Sasuke's turn to the dark side, or replacing the third, all of which would not happen here. Naruto would spend 2 years training with Jiraiya, all while Sasuke continues to train with Itachi. Itachi and Sasuke would go on various missions together, some of which are very dangerous. Sasuke would eventually join the Anbu like Itachi had, and would further grow stronger, having been assigned to Team Ro under Kakashi Hatake. It's here, and at this time, that Sasuke understands the dangers of being a shinobi as he watches many of his teammates die. After the 2 years end, Naruto returns to the village and meets up with Team 7. Sakura and Sasuke are there, smiling and waiting alongside Itachi. After so many years, Naruto and Sasuke are thrilled to see each other again, and are itching to know how much the other has grown. Naruto himself has grown stronger and mastered the initial and version 1 tailed beast states. Sasuke has seen great growth as well, and together they fight. Sasuke keeps up with Naruto, even displaying the Chidori and even the Raikiri. However, when Naruto powers up to his version 1 cloak, he takes the edge. However, this does not last long, as Sasuke himself proves to have his own improvements. He displays something new, a Mangekyo Sharingan, something he achieved from watching so many teammates die when he was in the Anbu. But even more so, it has no strain upon him at all. It's revealed that the same is true for Itachi. Given that both were brothers, both had Mangekyo, and both knew what happened when those fulfilling the two prerequisites trade eyes, it's only natural that they both achieved the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, both of them. With this, Sasuke proves to be well above Naruto still, much to the latter's chagrin. Even Sakura's grown a little, but not much, because she never gets to train under Tsunade because the third Hokage yet liveth. Sakura-chan is getting stiffed. However, it comes to everyone's knowledge that the current Kazekage, Gaara of the Hidden Sand, has been kidnapped, and it's up to Team 7 to find him. They go and manage to defeat the Akatsuki, but Gaara is dead. But don't worry, he can come back to life with the help of the 7 magic Dragon Balls, with the help of Chiyo's reincarnation technique. However, they get no lead about Orochimaru because that guy's gone. Kinda hard to have a meeting at Tenchi Bridge if you're all sealed up. They do, however, recognize the Akatsuki as a threat and proceed to hunt them down with extreme prejudice, which does result in the death of Asuma Sarutobi, which Konohamaru and Hiruzen both lament. However, both Hidan and Kakuzu are still taken down, as is Deidara at one point or another. Jiraiya receives word that the Akatsuki are supposedly based out of Amigakure in the village hidden in the rain, a place he's familiar with. He learns that the leader of the group is known as Pain, and he's saddened when he comes to realize that it was Nagato, Yahiko, and Konin, the 3 children he helped to raise, that are leading this operation. They end up killing Jiraiya-sensei. Word returns to the village and Naruto finds himself heartbroken. However, even still, life goes on. He needs to get stronger to avenge his mentor, and when one of the frog sages of Mount Myoboku, one of Jiraiya's teachers, comes looking for Naruto, he's taken to Mount Myoboku to train with the frog sages and achieve sage mode. However, Pain attacks the village while he's away. During this time, Itachi and Sasuke are facing off against Pain, using their eternal Mangekyo Sharingan to do so. They manage to stand quite a bit of a chance against him and manage to defeat Pain before Naruto can come back, which also defends most of the village. They would also locate both Nagato and Konin and proceed to kill them. Naruto returns and is informed of the attack, but due to the help of both Sasuke and Itachi, the village survives. However, Itachi is currently in the hospital due to a mystery illness which cropped up after his fight with Pain, and Sasuke's by his side. Sadly, it's terminal and he's too far gone to save. Itachi tells Sasuke that it's okay and that he'll always be watching over him, and then passes away. Naruto and Sakura console Sasuke for a while after. All the while, the 5 Kage summit is called. Hiruzen attends and they discuss the matter of the Akatsuki. However, Zetsu and Tobi crash the party and declare Shinobi World War IV. They all begin to set up strategies and mobilize. Meanwhile, Naruto, because he is the Akatsuki's target and thus what the war hinges on, is sent away to an island to hang out with Killer Bee. There he trains and begins to master the chakra of the Nine Tails. However, when he feels the war breaking out, Naruto decides to rush to the battlefield to aid. Despite being opposed, he appears to help them, and they eventually allow it. Now, given that Orochimaru is long gone, and Kabuto has very little to go off of, he never discovers the impure world reincarnation jutsu, and thus none of the former Akatsuki members are revived, nor are the Hokage. It's basically right now just the 5 great nations against Tobi, various Zetsu, and the Ten Tails. They show up, but the Ten Tails is revived. Obito and his Kamui seems to be easily countering any and all attempts to hurt him. However, Konoha has a few secret weapons of their own. They possess Kamui as well through Kakashi, as well as Kodo Amatsukami. But beyond that, they also possess the Mangekyo Sharingan of Itachi Uchiha, gifted to Konoha after his demise, which means they have various ways to counter Obito without touching him. Using a crow that contains the eye of Itachi, they cast Tsukiyomi on Obito, which puts him under and manage to kill him before he can absorb the Ten Tails. As for the Ten Tails, they managed to control it with the tons of Sharingan left over from the survival of the Uchiha clan, making Konoha currently very, very overpowered. Once it's pacified, all of its tailed beast energy is removed and its husk is left under the careful watch of the 5 great nations, in territory they dedicate to be neutral. Thus, the story comes to a close in what may be the happiest version of a what-if stories ending I've done yet. So what do you think? What would have happened if Itachi used Konohama Tsukami to save the Uchiha? Would it have worked? Or do you think he still would have to destroy them? Leave a comment below and tell us what you think. Be sure to give us a like and a subscription if you have yet to, and consider ringing the bell to be notified when new content like this drops. Peace.